Your learning target for today is I can write fractions, mixed numbers, and decimals involving tenths. Hi friends, it's Miss Mahan. We're going to be doing some work with decimals and fractions and mixed numbers today. So the first thing that you need to know is that if we have a number, like for example 78, we have a tens place, we have a ones place, we're going to put a decimal point, and now we're going to have a tenths place. So if we have 78.2, that's not how we read decimal numbers. When we read decimal numbers, the point, we say and then we say the number 2, and because it's in the tenths place, we say 2/10. So this number is 78 and 2/10. If we have another number, you can see below, we're gonna have 1.3, but that's not how we read decimals. We're gonna say 1 and 3/10. So that is just a very quick introduction, because the rest of this, we're gonna move pretty quick, and you need to know how to say these numbers so that when you hear me, you can just write them down and not have to look at what I'm writing, okay? Okay, I'm also going to show you some fraction and mixed number examples because they go together with the decimals. So if we have a numerator of 3 and a denominator of 10, we don't say 3/10 when we talk about fractions. We're going to say 3/10. If we have 7/10, we're going to say 7/10. A mixed number has a whole number and a fraction. So that's why it's called a mixed number, because it has two different types of numbers. So a mixed number example would be a whole number of 2 with a fraction. So we would say 2 and 4/10. If we want to write 2 and 4/10 like a decimal, here's what we do. The 2 becomes in the ones place because it has a value of 2 ones. 2 and, remember the decimal, we say and, 4/10. So see how mixed numbers and fractions can be related to decimals. So that is the bulk of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to do some examples, and then you'll have some activity work to do on your own. You will have 3 types of problems on your assignment, and you'll have multiple equations for each type of problem. So this is the first type. Your directions say write the fraction or mixed number as a decimal. So in order to do that, you need to read the fraction out loud and then write it as a decimal. So to start, number 1, the fraction is 7/10. When you say it out loud, that makes it easier to write as a decimal. So we're gonna put 0 and our decimal point, 7. 7/10. Our next one, 4/10. We don't have any whole numbers, so 0, decimal point, 4. The next one, 5 and 1/10. So we have a whole number 5, then our decimal point, and then a 1. And lastly, we have 24 and 3/10. So our whole number is 24. It goes on the left side of the decimal. Put your decimal point, and then the tenths. Pretty easy, right? Okay, and here's the second type of problem. Your directions say write the number as a fraction or mixed number and as a decimal. So you're gonna do it both ways. That's why it's in word form, so that you can write it as a mixed number or fraction and as a decimal. So we're gonna say it out loud, 6/10. So we don't have a whole number, decimal point, and 6 in the tenths place. And then to make this into a fraction, 6 in the numerator and 10 in the denominator. That's 6/10. Number 2, the second problem, 11 and 5/10. 11, we know that and means a decimal, 5 in the tenths place. And then to write that as a mixed number, it's a mixed number because it has a whole number. To write that as a mixed number, we put our whole number 11 and then 5/10. Again, pretty easy, right? The third type is word problems, so it's a little bit trickier because you have to read more and pull some information out of it, but as soon as you know what you're looking for, it's going to be super simple. Here's what the word problem says. You move a game piece around a game board 3 2/10 times, right as a decimal. So the only information we need is this 3 2/10, and we're changing this mixed number into a decimal. That is a lot like what we have already been doing. We know that the 3 is our whole number, the and is our decimal point, and then 2 goes in the tenths place. That's it. Okay, here's the last type of word problem that you'll see on your assignment. We have a chart right here with lots of different information. So let's read the example. You have a collection of dinosaur figurines. What portion of the dinosaurs in your collection are carnivores? Write your answer as a decimal. So we are finding the type of dinosaur from here. Here's a carnivore, here's a carnivore, here's a carnivore. So now let's count how many we have all together. Probably 10 because we're working with tenths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know that we're going out of 10 and we have 3. So we have 3/10 that are carnivores. Now look at that bottom one that says 14. Use the table above. What portion of the dinosaurs in your collection are herbivores? Write your answer as a decimal. So I'm going to change my highlighter color, and we're looking for herbivores. We're looking under type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5/10. Now it's time for you to do an activity to show that you understand how to do decimals, fractions, and mixed numbers using tenths. Have fun.